Hi guys, and today welcome to another video. In today's video, we're going to be comparing the Steam Deck OLED to the Xbox Asus ROG Ally X. We're going to be taking a look at design. We're going to be taking a look at specs. We're going to run some benchmarks. In the end of this video, I'm going to tell you guys which one I prefer, even with the price tag. So if that's something you guys were interested in, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into this video. So let's start off with the design. As you can see here, this is the Steam Deck design. I personally feel like this design is one of the most comfortable handhelds that I've ever held. I think Valve did a good job with just creating this device. As you can see, the back has a little hump here that gives you a good grip to hold. This device is very light in the hand. I feel like the analog stick placement is one of my favorites, and the fact that this has a trackpad to navigate as well is awesome. Now, there's some gripes that I do have with this. One USB-C port is kind of a bummer, and the fact that you cannot connect an eGPU with this is kind of a bummer. But let's take a look at the Xbox ROG Ally, and as you can see here, when I first saw the unveiling of this device, like, this device is ugly. I don't know what they were thinking, but it actually makes a lot of sense. I would have to say, I personally feel that this device feels more comfortable in the hands to hold than the Steam Deck OLED, which is saying a lot, because before this device, I thought the Steam Deck OLED was the most comfortable handheld in the market. This is definitely heavier than the Steam Deck, but these grips make it feel like you're holding a controller, and for some reason, it just makes the screen pop out more to you as well. But yeah, I think they did a good job nailing this design. It is ugly though, I'll tell you that, but as far as comfort goes, it's very comfortable to hold. Now, looking up top, you have two USB-C, which is something I wish the Steam Deck had. You had your micro SD card, your power button, and the triggers. Now, something that I don't like about these front-facing buttons is that they are very clicky. Where the Steam Deck, you can play this in bed and it's very stealthy. Now, something that I really prefer over the Steam Deck to the Xbox ROG Ally when it comes to the design is the screen. This has a 7.4-inch OLED display that can hit 90 Hz. But again, with the Xbox ROG Ally, it's only a 7-inch display, and you can see the size difference here. When you're playing a game or navigating, the OLED screen definitely pops, and something that I really admire with an OLED screen is using it at nighttime. You can set the brightness very low and it gets really dark to where you can still see the Steam Deck and it's not so bright to where it's waking everyone up. But yeah, this OLED display is a beautiful thing, and the size of it is beautiful, and I prefer it over the Xbox ROG Ally. All right, so let's talk about OS. As you can see here, this is running SteamOS, and I love SteamOS. Valve did a good job with this. This is like a console-like experience. If you're a console gamer on in like a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, you know what I mean by this. You see a game that you want, you just click it, you hit play or hit connect or whatever the case might be, and it gets you right into the game. And this is so good that personally, I feel like Microsoft tried to copy it, because originally Windows was not like this, but this is the first device that Microsoft is bringing the new OS. And as you can see here, you can come here and you can have access to all your games. So it displays all the games that you have here. And then you can be specific if you want your Steam games is here, and it all works with the controller. So again, you can tell that they are making an attempt, but still, if it still feels janky and it doesn't look as good, right? Again, it's just all over the place still. So I still prefer SteamOS. Now, if you want to go back to Windows, you can just go here, click this, and go back to Windows, and you then have your traditional Windows. And then if you want to go to desktop here, you just hit the power here, switch to desktop, and you have access to your desktop. But personally, I prefer SteamOS better than anything that Windows is doing here with the new OS. They are attempting to get better, but still, I feel like Steam definitely has. Now, looking at the specs, I'm not going to bore you guys with this. I'm just going to talk about it quickly. So again, this has a 7.4-inch OLED display, and it does 90 Hz. It has 16 gig of RAM, right? It's running a very old chipset. This is not even the Z1 chipset. So again, when it comes to chipset and performance wise, I do feel like the Xbox ROG Ally has it when it comes to this, but I feel like the community has made ways to actually make games perform better, which I'll talk about here later in this video. And again, as far as battery life, it's rocking a 50 mAh. But yeah, that's pretty much the specs for this right now. For the Xbox RG Ally, it does have the Z2 Extreme AI chipset in it. It does have a 24 gig of RAM, so again, pretty cool stuff here. It does have an 80 mAh battery, so again, better battery. Display is something that I don't like. They kept the 7-inch display, and this does do 120 refresh rate, and it does have VRR as well. So on paper, this has the beefiest specs, right? So again, games are going to perform better. AAA games are going to work better on this device. But again, you got to know what you want, and we'll talk about pricing here in a bit, right? So again, let me just run some benchmark for you guys and show you guys what this looks like. Run the benchmarks, right? All right, so the first benchmark we're going to run here is Cyberpunk benchmark. So as you can see here, video, we're going to put it at 720p, so we can pretty much match the resolution. For a quick preset, we're going to put the Steam Deck preset here to just make it fair, right? Again, we just want fairness here. So again, we're going to turn frame gen off as well. Just keep it in balance mode. Again, 720. So yeah, let's apply this and let's run this benchmark and let's see what we get here. All right, so average FPS here is 35.83. And again, just know that this is running at 15 watts is what the Steam Deck TDP is. So this is not a really fair comparison because I cannot get to lower in the TDP here for this. Again, I'm trying to open Emery Crate up, and that's what you use to the TDP, but as you can see, nothing just seems to be opening up here for me. So anyway, with that being said, this is running at 25 watts, which is considered performance, right? This is turbo mode, 25 plus. As you can see, I know the screen is tiny, but it is running at 21 watts. So against performance mode, they do have a balance mode, which is around 15 watts, which is similar to what the Steam Deck is running. But again, we cannot access that because Windows is being Windows. So I'm just going to run this anyway. So again, I'm going to come here and I'm going to go to 720p. Like you see right here, we're going to get it pretty similar. Again, Steam Deck, frame generation off, everything. So we're going to hit apply here. And then we're going to run this benchmark and let's see how it does compared to the Steam Deck. All right, so it's done. So let's take a look. As you can see here, it is at 56.59. Again, same preset. But something you notice when it comes to TDP here, this was running at a high TDP. I think if you put in balance, it's around 47, 48. I've actually tested this one out on balance and I was getting around 47, 48. All right, so final verdict, which one should you get? And personally speaking, I think it depends what kind of gamer that you are, right? If you want to play the latest AAA games, the Battlefield 6s, again, SteamOS, you cannot do Battlefield 6 unless you use a cloud game service like GeForce Now, which I've done a video showcasing that. You can play games like that streaming it. But again, if you want the latest AAA games with better performance, definitely consider the Xbox RG Ally. Something to note though is the price difference, right? So again, if you want this device, it is $1,000, right? So if you want a Steam Deck OLED, the cheapest model is $550, so almost half the price of it. Right, so you have to ask yourself, is 7 to 10 FPS increase worth $500? That's the question that you should be asking. I personally use my Steam Deck. The Steam Deck community has been awesome because again, now we not have lossless scaling here, so we can use from generation. We have FSR4, right? So again, the community has been stepping up to make games more playable, enjoyable. But not only that, devs are even taking measures to actually optimize the game to run better on the Steam Deck. So even AAA games like Baldur's Gate and, for instance, just recently Doom: The Dark Ages got a patch to improve better in handheld, specifically for the Steam Deck. So you've seen devs definitely be mindful of optimizing the games to run better on the Steam Deck. And so with that being said, I'm loving my Steam Deck still. For the price of what you're paying to the performance ratio, it's actually really, really good. I rather pay $550 and you can get this refurbished as well for, I believe, $400, right? So it's insane, the performance that you get for a $400 device compared to $1,000 device, right? And yeah, if you are looking to play the latest AAA games, I would say this might struggle a little bit, but if you have like a huge backlog catalog that you want to go through and finish games like, let's say, Dying Light or Days Gone or the First Horizon, the Steam Deck can definitely handle those games, and then indie games as well with emulation. Yeah, I think the Steam Deck's an incredible device for that price point. But again, if you want to play the latest AAA bangers, then consider the Asus Xbox ROG Ally X. Golly, the name is terrible. And then also consider that $1,000 price tag. You'll have to pay for that. But yeah, that is my review. You guys let us know, what are your thoughts on this? Which one are you guys excited to pick up? Personally, I think they are both great devices. They cater to different audience. Again, if you're an Xbox fan and if you want to play the latest AAA games, definitely consider this. But if you have a huge Steam catalog that you want to go through, and if you like SteamOS, definitely consider SteamOS. Also, if you're in a budget, especially with how crazy the economy has been lately, definitely consider the Steam Deck OLED. Fellas, let me know if you found this video helpful. Appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Till next time, peace out.